player in StarCraft Blue War, and he's trying to get back to where he was before in StarCraft 2, and from my perspective, he's on the way there. I mean, I can see him being back to where he was before. It's just that it's going to be some matter of time before he is adjusted to the huge amount of change from Blue War to StarCraft 2.
And maybe by that time, Heart of the Swarm will be out, but then again, that might be 12 years down from now. Knowing Blizzard.
Now, the best StarCraft 3 player is going to be Artosis, too.
Best StarCraft 3 player? Yeah, I can totally see that.
3?
Or Mini-Wheat.
Yeah, because
Maybe Mini-Wheat
is going to tap into his dad's vast supply of StarCraft 2 abilities.
That would be awesome, though. Mini-Wheat winning the next tournament. That would be awesome. Anyway, speculation. Razzle, what's your thoughts?
Well, I don't know. EG's. I like how EG picked up this new guy because he's so good against especially Terrans. So with this new guy in the house, I feel like a lot of people are gonna be good against Terran. I don't know what I'm talking about really, but you know.
When in doubt, just bullshit away.
Right. Pretty much day 9 all the way.
Yeah, exactly. Day 9 for days, son. Dude, did you hear Day 9's New Year's resolution?
I watched that.
Yeah, he's going to play
episode.
10 games of StarCraft per day, but before he can play anything, he's going to do a workout routine of some sort.
Oh, good luck.
He's gonna. That's pretty intense.
That is fucking killer. My goal for any time from now on will be able to play one fucking game a day, if I can.
One game.
If I can. Again, with how work has been kicking my ass, I don't know if I can. Today is my only day off. That's why we're doing the podcast, and I'm probably going to play some after this.
That sucks.
Yeah, but...
Blue Dragon's just eating pizza without us. Doesn't even give a shit. Not even caring. No one
Jackass.
Even cares. I mean, come on, look at that.
Christ, man. Fucking starving over here, can't you tell?
I haven't eaten in a while. Just
Uh-huh.
back
Oh,
off.
you poor baby. Let me guess, your girlfriend made that for you, didn't she? Yeah.
And she's a good cook. So back off. What are you giving me that look?
You know who I'm really actually excited to watch this year? Is TLO. Because he hasn't really been practicing all that much, right? He's been out of the scene for a while, but he's recently started getting back into it. And I feel like he could show some people up. I feel like he's a really good player, but I mean he just hasn't practiced all that much.
My feeling of TLO is that he's a really creative player, and creative players traditionally do really well in the early stages of the game. That's kind of why Boxer did so well, because he was really creative, and the game was new, so people hadn't worked out all the strategies. But I think the creative players are gonna lose out in the long run once people start to work out the mechanics of the game a lot better, and there's kind of less room for cheesing and stuff in the game these days, and that's kind of where creative players shine a lot of the time. The macro skills aren't as good, and so when it goes to those later games, it's kind of detrimental for them.
I don't even I feel like he's just much more of an entertainer. He doesn't really care, you know what I mean, about tournaments.
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
But yeah,
I'm going to voice in here. I disagree with that, only because you're correct in that usually as the game goes on, being creative is less and less important, and less, you know, of a strength. But the very fact that the game is being continuously patched in ways that just completely screws over balance every single time that happens. And also because there's 2 more expansions coming out where anything can happen and then the mechanics might just change and everything will be different. until
This is true. This is true.
until Legacy of the Void comes out and it's completely patched, being creative will always be if not the thing that pushes, it'll be something that takes your mechanics and pushes you over the edge in order to, and lets you win games. Like TLO versus, you know, hypothetical person like A that has the exact same mechanics as TLO. TLO will win that because he has a lot more creativity than, you know, the average player.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't have the mechanics to back it up.
Orlando that saw that shit. Like, I was there in the crowd, Orlando, when he lands his barracks on his opponent's tech lab and makes Reapers. Like, that will never go out of style. That will always be a big crowd draw. That will always be like I will always remember that. Like, when I want to go somewhere and watch TLO, I will always remember that.
I didn't see that. That sounds amazing, though.
I didn't know you'd do that. Oh god.
What was he doing? He was going mech or something, and he had his barracks floating with Scout or something like that.
He was like, you know what? Nobody's ever tried this before. I wonder if this works. Click.
No, the silly thing is that he actually practices that. Like, TLO practices that kind of stuff.
I don't doubt that. But in the middle of a fucking tournament, on the main stage, and you just fucking do something that's off the wall and bonkers.
Against Boxer.
I love you, bro. Against Boxer. Against fucking Boxer. Another dude who's gonna go off the wall bonkers, and it's gonna be. That was one of the best series I've seen. That one in the Idris match from not too long ago.
Yeah, Boxer
Isn't that
really nice
the TLO versus Boxer at MLG Orlando last year? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one we're talking about.
Yeah, that's one I was at.
By the way, I was there. I don't know how the heck I did not see you, Ozzy, but I was there.
Really?
And when I watched that match, I was out of it. I mean,
maybe they'll bring in MLG to Australia.
I thought TLO was going to win that battle because of the amount of Vikings and Raven. Well, I did not know that your Macho Cannon from Boxer is going to do much more damage than the missile. I mean, when I see the battle that's going on, I'm looking, okay, TLO's going to win this. It's obvious, you know, he's going to win this. And then the longer the battle goes, I'm like, wait a minute, Boxer's winning. How the heck did that happen?
Yeah.
What
Like,
the
fuck
is up with that?
It's one of the matches that I'm at the edge of my seat, and you don't see that often because it's something you never expect, and especially when you have a guy like TLO, which is what Razzle was showing. Oh, she took it out. Especially when you have a guy like TLO, you can't predict what he's doing. And you know, I like players like TLO because they're so creative and they're not even going by the build. And if they go by the build, the opposing will be like, oh, I know what he's doing 100%, so I'm just going to do this to counter it. But he's so creative that the opponent have no idea what to do because he's never seen that before. But he may have seen it once, but don't know what to do. And players like TLO make me really love watching StarCraft, especially on a professional level.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the opposite of Idra, pretty much. Idra will always go 15 hatch, and you know what he's going to do. Idra expects you to do, like, you know, the top thing that your race would do, and if it doesn't happen, he calls you bad. Like, so, I feel, and, I mean, Idra's entertaining to watch, but I feel like he's so much more predictable that it's much more like, oh, there's his mutas again, you know? He's going to win another game. With TLO, it's like crazy ghost drops, nukes, you know? It's awesome.
The difference between Idra and TLO, I mean, people say, oh yeah, there's many of them, but like the main difference when you're talking about them being entertaining, TLO is entertaining to watch as well as to listen to. Idra is only entertaining to watch because he overreacts, not necessarily because of his play.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, Idra did this amazing, like, groundbreaking strategy where he made a fucking hatchery at 15. It's like, it's not gonna happen. You'll see that in TLO. Like, TLO didn't make an expansion until like the 15-minute mark, and then he won. It's like, what? And it's like just stuff like that. TLO is entertaining to watch, and he's entertaining to listen to because he's just like nice. And, you know, he'll say things that are just like you don't expect people to say because people aren't that nice.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Idra will just be an asshole, and then everyone will be like, "Oh yeah, it's so great because Idra's an asshole." It's like, okay, well, I can understand where you're coming from, but because
an asshole's an asshole.
You're not really watching Idra because of Idra. You're watching Idra because he's an asshole. It's like, I guess it's the same thing, but there's a difference between actually being a good player. And not that Idra isn't a good player, he is, but he's not entertaining to watch in that he's
so standard.
He's just,
like,
he plays very well, he plays very standard, he plays very by the book, and it's entertaining to watch when he does it well, because, like, you see him out doing the likes of MVP and Dongri-gu and all that stuff. And speaking of which, if you want to see JYP in action, he's going up against four people from MVP. Dongri-gu and SC are one of them, and then Genius is the other, I think. So that's going to be a pretty good test for him. So keep your eyes on the GSL. Yeah,
I'm gonna probably turn on something after this. Okay, so we've talked about we're halfway through, and it's been an hour and a little over an hour. Cool.
How many of you watched the Home Story Cup?
Haven't heard of it, actually.
I've heard of it. I haven't watched it.
It's like a LAN party that someone throws in, but for $15,000.
It's at his house, isn't it?
Yeah, like you'll see a bunch of pros just like in the background grilling stuff, playing pool, playing other things, just kind of dicking around. But then also there's a tournament for $15,000. It's really strange, but it's a lot of fun.
Imagine if you were rich.
That sounds.
Imagine if you were rich and you had like $20,000 to throw around. You just like invite all these programmers to your backyard or something and have an epic party.
That would be pretty boss. But
Damn right.
or we'd all just fly out to Australia and see you or something.
You could. I'd probably kick you out there.
Anyway, another topic. I think we've walked this one a while. Doc, Senor Silent.
What's up?
What's your topic?
I was going to cover Sweden's newest church that's being recognized. Sweden has now officially recognized the Missionary Church of Copimism, aka the file-sharing church. They believe that sharing files across the internet is a sacred act. So they're hoping that this is kind of a start, because Sweden's lawmakers have started coming down on file shares over there, finally. And so they're hoping that this might give them some shelter. Thoughts and opinions?
Isn't the idea of a church that is meant to be some sort of deity or god there? Who are they worshipping?
File sharing.
No. The purpose of a church is a place to worship in a set collective of either spiritual beliefs or moralistic beliefs. They believe that they are morally obligated to share everything.
Argue it.
I would argue with that idea, but I'm gonna go on and on with it.
I don't want to do a religious.
I can go on and on with that idea. It's false, but
I don't want to do a religious podcast, please.
Yeah.
I mean,
sounds
that
like a
is
troll anyway.
The only thing it's even relevant is because it's technologically based. Leave it to Sweden to bring up technologically based religions.
Exactly. But,
right?
Yeah, that
I wonder how many people are actually part of this. Like, it sounds like the most bullshit thing I've ever heard. Next to
right
Scientology.
now the church. Nice. Now we're gonna get sued. The church has grown in the past 3 months from 1,000 to 3,000 members. So, and I mean, if the government of Sweden is fully recognizing it, they're hoping that now they can get a larger population base, so to speak.
You know what? Post this on 4chan, and then all of Anonymous will join it. They'll have like 1 million people.
I'm sure Anonymous
Excellent.
is like some.
A million people. I think you're being a little liberal with that number there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Probably like 20,000, I want to say, maybe.
Yeah, and then 50 of them will actually show up.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, it's really population-wise, you're looking at a couple 100,000 really with the data from the transfer rates, but only like 20 people actually care